Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of Cookiecast. Today on Cookiecast, she's back. She's here with you again. It's the Liante. She's bringing in all the hot information on what's good on TV, what movies are great, all the information on the running, and other bits and bobs. Yeah. If you are not checking us out on YouTube, please do, and while you're there, do please subscribe. It's a big help to the YouTube channel. It's a big help to the podcast. So thanks for doing that. Thanks. So here we go. This is Cookiecast up Liante.
Recording. Hello, podcast people. Is the camera going? I hope so. Yay! Hi! Let me get into position. Oh, no, started. Haven't had a drink, so bear with me. Okay. Sorry about that. I have now had my drink. In the right place, is that better? You can see the vibrations appearing on the screen when I'm making movement. Right, hello people. Here I am back for podcast number 12. You are sitting with me for Up Liante. I'm going to keep it short this week. We are on a time pressured schedule. Cookie has another podcast to fit in shortly. I've got the normal length of amount of time that I would take to do a podcast, but I actually think it's going to be quick because I have done fuck all this week, so I have very little to talk about. This is not new news. This has been building week on week, but here we are again. Nothing new to report. So before I forget, number 1, I am back again modelling the Cookiecast t-shirt. If people are interested, if it's something you would like to see yourself wearing in your latest selfie or whatever you do on the Instagram and stuff like that, stuff that I don't use, I don't understand, let us know. These t-shirts are available for purchase and we just need to know that you want them. So do get in touch if you could see yourself wearing one of these and sharing the brand. In relation to that, Cookie just mentioned briefly that I should share this good news that we have had an increase in subscribers over the last week. It's gone up by a couple, but we need more support. Couple's great, it's really good, thank you to whoever they are, but we need more people to share the page or the YouTube, whatever it is. I don't understand this technology stuff, but if we could have more YouTube subscribers, that would be awesome. So please like the page, share it with your friends, your family, anybody. Just share it and encourage them to like it, and it would be really appreciated, please. We need to spread the word of the Cookiecast name. There was something else I needed to mention, but that was in relation to my content, so I will come on to that later on. So we'll start with the weight check-in again. I can't remember if I didn't write down what it was last week. I think I'm pretty much exactly the same, so I have neither gained nor lost any weight, and that is because I've had a mixed amount of effort. I had some really good days, and then there's just other days where I've switched off completely and eaten as much carbs as humanly possible and ice creams. We've had some very hot weather, so ice creams have been a must, and I can't limit myself to one a day, so sometimes there's been 2. I'm a horrendous human being. What am I going to say? It is only my own journey that I am hampering, so I'm still down. I'm definitely still sort of 4 pounds down to when I started a few weeks back, but it's not where I wanted to be at this point, by any stretch, but I will continue to do my best, whatever that means. We take one day at a time, I guess. So exercise has not changed from last week's update. Still not been doing any Joe Wicks because I have been busy on the days that I would have normally been doing Joe Wicks. Last Thursday morning I went for a walk with my mum again. We sort of covered 3 miles, similar to the walk we'd done the week before, but the difference in the weather was just sort of like from one extreme to the other. I think when we'd gone the week before last, it was absolutely pissing it down, we got soaked through, whereas this week it was absolutely blazing sunshine, and we're talking 9:30 in the morning. It was 25 degrees. We saw a guy out there. We walked around a cycle track at the York Sports Village, and there was a guy out there doing laps of the cycle route and then stopping to, it looked like he was doing burpees at one point. He was sort of up and down and up and down, and then he went and did another loop of the cycle track, and just absolute madness in what was probably, as I say, sort of mid-20 degree heat. It was bad enough just walking, but he was being a crazy person. But having said that, and then I was too busy to do Joe Wicks, but at least we went for a walk. Likewise today would have normally been a Joe Wicks day, and instead had to take the other car for a service. Dropped that off this morning, and similar to last week I walked back with the baby, and then got a call this afternoon to say that the car was ready, so I walked back to collect it. So I think that's probably a 4-mile walk in total. Did have to part with another £250 for the service itself, but there was nothing wrong. It's only a 2-year-old car, so wouldn't want there to be anything wrong with it at this point. But £250 just to keep it on the road and say that it's worthy. It's a bit extortionate. Speaking of service, a recap on the other car's service from last week. So they couldn't find the wheel nut key, and when we collected it, it needed £500 worth of work doing to keep it on the road. We needed to try and get hold of a wheel nut key so that some of that work could actually be done and the service be finished off. So Cookie called Evans Halshaw last week to get a price on how much it would be for the replacement wheel nut key, and he came back to me and was like, guess how much? So I was like, 50 quid. There's a lot more than what I'd seen them on eBay for. So I was like, 50 quid. And he was like, double it and add VAT. And I'm like, you are shitting me. £120 for a replacement part that's sort of like this big. And I was like, it's a joke. But I guess we're going to have to pay it, otherwise we can't get this work done. We can't get the brake pads checked, which the guy at the garage seemed to think were rusted or potentially corroding. Was it the brake fluid as well, couldn't be sorted out or checked. So I was like, hang on, before we spend this much money, I'm going to go and check the boot of the car. The checklist said the checklist from when we purchased the car said it was in there in the boot, so unless they removed it again before selling it to keep the wheel nut key, maybe it's still in there somewhere. I know the garage said they looked and whatever. Anyway, I went out to the car and I lifted up the little carpet layer thing, whatever you call it, in the back of the boot. There was various bits and pieces in there. There was like a I can't even think what you call the things that go on the back of the car and you put a trailer on it, or whatever that thing's called. There was this yellow box thing. I have no idea what it's for. It seemed to have various buttons on and like some kind of gauge, maybe even a little screen. I picked that up and it was in like bubble wrap. I looked inside, I couldn't see anything, but as I put this yellow box unit thing back in, there was something clunking around inside this bubble wrap bag. So I opened it, and lo and behold, out fell this metal thing which clunked into the boot. And when I picked it up, I was like, I'm pretty sure that's the wheel nut key. Looked at it, came in, showed Cookie, and he was like, yeah. And I was like, brilliant. So the garage couldn't find it, which maybe they didn't look inside this yellow thing. I don't blame them. You probably wouldn't expect it to be in there, but that is where I found it. So in essence saved ourselves 120 quid on having to replace that, but just need to actually get back in touch with the garage to book the car back in for the rest of the service and to get the rest of this work carried out. So I just thought I'd update you on that. You'd be pleased to know that we saved ourselves some money that we didn't want to have to outlay in the first place, but still have to pay for the rest of the work to be done. So not a huge saving in the grand scheme of things, but in terms of not having to replace something to make that work possible, it is a saving. Anyway, stop rambling about that and go back to the exercise. So Thursday's walk with my mum was 3.5 miles in the morning, and then in the afternoon walked round to my Auntie Davies, spent a couple of hours there in the garden. The baby was playing with a bucket of water. She was having great fun, and say the weather was just scorching on both Wednesday and Thursday. Wednesday I was working, however I had to trap myself in the room that Cookie and I used to work from. It's a spare room, but the heat builds up and it's tough being sat in here when it's really hot. So I had a headache by the end of Wednesday. Thursday was very similar, but at least I wasn't working and I was able to be outside and enjoy that weather. So yeah, I walked to my auntie's and back, so that was another couple of miles, and then was it Thursday I went shopping as well. I think by the end of the day I walked about 7 miles in the sunshine, so I was glowing a little bit red by the end of the day. I do my utmost to keep the baby slathered in sun cream, obviously, but I don't tend to bother with myself. I used to all the time because I burn quite badly, but I found that when I'm walking in it, it's better than just being stationary, so I haven't been bothering. But because I'd actually been sat in the garden in my auntie's house, I had burned a little. I don't know if you can tell from the camera, I have this section around my neck, which is where it had burnt most, and then on my forehead and a little bit on my arms. Anyway, for once I've not peeled yet. So that was some walking, 7 miles worth of walking, and then, as I say, I've done probably about 4 miles today. So walking is the extent of my exercise at the moment. It's bad, I know it is. No excuses. Week in, week out, no excuses, but I'm still where I am in terms of motivation to do stuff and time to fit it in. Having said that, I have a run scheduled on Saturday with my good friend Zoe. We used to run together a lot back in the day when I was running more. I would run from here down to her house, which probably 2 miles. We'd go out and cover maybe 3, 4, 5 miles, and then I would run and walk back home. That is not my intention for Saturday. I'm going to drive to her house and we will go for a run along probably the cycle track near her house and maintain a 1 to 2 metre distance between us, and try to get some miles in. I'm hopeful that we can sort of cover a couple of miles, even if it's starting and stopping and starting and stopping. I would just want to know that I've covered a decent distance, and although I've not officially signed up to the Race at Your Pace to do 25 miles, my intention is to cover 25 miles over the course of July. So July starts tomorrow for me, even though you won't be listening to this till next week. So yes, I am committing to covering 25 miles. I don't know how or when I will be fitting all those in, but that is the aim of the game. And that's to just give me a sense of goal, a reason to actually get out there rather than just feeling I need to and I want to, but I'm not going to bother. So I've set my mind to having this target and we'll see where we get to. I will check in on it next week and see how many I've covered. I'm not sure if Saturday will be my only opportunity to get out. I was going to go Sunday, but I didn't check in with Cookie as to sort of availability for looking after the baby, and for I mean, it very rarely happens, but he's actually got plans on Sunday morning to hit the golf course, so that's why I've switched running to Saturday. But it also means I need to check in with my dad because I think he was coming over, so I probably need to see if he can go on Sunday. And I think Sunday's weather is better anyway, so that might work better, given that he and I need to still be seated outside. Although, is it Saturday that the new changes come into effect? So you could go inside with another household now at various different times, different households, but 2 households can now be inside as long as you maintain social distancing. I'm not sure if that's the case, but I think that was one of the rules that come into effect on the 4th of July, which is what Saturday's date will be. So anyway, I need to check with my dad if he can swap days so that I can still fit in the running and still see him, because I've not seen him since the last time we spoke. He hasn't been over, I've not been over there, so definitely want to catch up with him. Anyway, I feel like I just had a complete old ramble there about all sorts. So, what programmes I've been watching? Not a lot. Mostly Are You the One? I got really invested in this, so I finished season 1. Can't remember if I'd already finished that last week. I've now since watched series 2 and 3. Season 3 was just... I actually thought they were going to get to the end of the season and not win the money. They got to week 8 of checking in, and I think they only had 3 of their light beams come up, so that meant they only had 3 perfect matches in the house when they need 10 to win the $1 million. They'd already had a blackout in 1 week, which means that there was 0 matches with all the different pairs, and they lost 250,000 of their $1 million. So by the time it was coming to the end, even if they did win, they were only going to win 750,000. You say only, but it is between 20 of them, so what's that? That's like, instead of winning 50,000 each, they were only going to win 37,500 each. It's still not to be sniffed at, but I guess you're going into a game show, you want to win as much as possible. But they were in week 8 and it was not looking promising. I think they'd had a maximum of 3 matches in any week, so there was sort of like a 2, a 1, a none, a 2, and then a few weeks of just having 3. And even with all their strategizing and sort of looking at who were the confirmed pair or couples in those weeks versus those weeks, and we swap those people around, and if they're not a pair then they must be a pair, and just sort of like playing it all back, they still were floundering. And week 9 I think they were still in exactly the same position, and then somehow it was absolutely ridiculous how they managed to pull it out of the bag for the last episode and then come away with their full 10 pairs so they could win the money. I didn't see it happening, but luckily for them, they made it and they won the money. So I have swiftly moved on to season 4. I'm a couple of episodes in. I really need to get my focus back and watch something proper, because it's just, I just sit there and watch a few episodes in the evening, and then my evening's gone and I'm done, and then I go off to bed. Sometimes I have been watching the Below Deck on Netflix. That's sort of interesting in a way, just watching that. I think I'm maybe on the 3rd episode, and in the 2nd episode, the charter they've taken out, this is on the yacht, and sort of the yacht they're staffing. It cost $100,000, I'm guessing, to charter that yacht for a week. One of the members of staff was saying that's more than she would earn in 10 years, I think she said. And you think, wow, that is why are they doing these jobs if they're earning such low sort of salaries? I thought these jobs meant they earned a lot of money, because sometimes they're working like 18-hour days, and the main income for the role comes from their tips, and people are paying $100,000 for hiring a yacht for a week, then they're not short of a few quid. So I think they expect decent tips each time. Maybe they don't count tips in terms of what they'd be earning, so that probably would add up and make more sense. But anyway, the guys that charted it on this episode had to essentially be kicked off because some of the staff found drugs on board, and drugs on a boat is a big no-no. I've seen this from watching Deadliest Catch, which is a crabbing it's a TV show, sort of a reality TV show about life on crab ships, and it's the staffing of the boat when they go out and fish for crab in crab seasons, and it's quite a deadly job, but I've seen from that it puts the captain's licence at jeopardy if drugs are found on board, so drugs are always a big no-no on board ships, but yeah, it's an interesting programme to sort of watching. It's sort of how the other half live, and then how the staff that serve those other half are actually treated as a result. So yeah, interesting show. Sorry, I can't see shit out of my glasses. Very clean again. So that's all I've been watching really. Apart from a film. I watched a film on Friday night. Cookie had a couple of podcasts going on, so I was like, I'll watch a film. And I watched a film I'd seen advertised on Sky called Crawl. I must admit, when I'd initially seen, there was sort of the picture still on Sky of this film, and it showed sort of a girl up near the roof, sort of, it looked like she was in an attic, say, sort of squashed up, sort of on all fours, and I thought it was going to be some kind of horror about, I don't know, crawling around in the attic or something, but I realised that you look closely at the picture, you can see the girl on this wooden board, sort of, she is against the ceiling, but then there's water underneath, and in the water there's just this big alligator, and once I realised that's what it's about, I was like, it's like a big monster movie kind of thing, so I was like, it's perfect, that's exactly what I need. That is the film for me. So I've watched this Crawl. It had the girl in it, I can't remember what her name is, Kayla is something beginning with S. She was from Skins. She was Effie in Skins, for anyone that used to watch that. Not a brilliant actress by any means, certainly not in this film, but basically the film's set in Florida. A hurricane has hit Florida, and the town is flooding, and floods the property that her father is in, and nobody's heard from her father for a couple of days, so she travels from where she lives to go and see if he's okay, finds him unconscious in the crawl space of this property, which has not yet flooded. She's trying to get him out, and she's just about to drag him up the stairs. Sort of the crawl space is underneath the basement, so she's going to get him up the stairs, and then this huge alligator breaks the staircase and comes chasing after them, and she manages to... Oh my god, I'm just telling you exactly what happens. What if you want to watch this? Sorry, spoilers everybody. So basically, I'll rewind a little bit. She is there with her father, and they are now confined in this space with alligators, and it's a life or death kind of situation as to whether they can get out against the alligators before the crawl space floods, as obviously that's under the property. It's the first to fill with water as the tides continue to rise and the levees break and whatnot. So yeah, it was actually a really enjoyable film. I thought it was really good. It was exactly the sort of film for me. If I compare it to whatever that film was with the sharks in, was it 40 metres down or something? If you sort of like compare them side by side, water, tick tick, some people trying to survive, yep, that's both of them. This one's got sharks, this one's got alligators, but the alligator one was just 100 times better. I don't know if it's because it's sort of a little bit different. It was just, I enjoyed it more. It was more free flowing, it was a little bit more jumpy. It was just a better film all round from my point of view. there was also a dog. I was a bit worried for this dog because the dog was upstairs in the house and sort of trying to help, and didn't want the dog to get eaten by an alligator. But yeah, if I compare the two films, the alligator one, Crawl, was definitely better, and it probably gets like a 7. I don't know, I can't remember what I gave the shark film. I can't imagine it was a 7. Maybe that was before I started giving actual ratings. But yeah, Crawl with the alligators gets a good solid 7 from me. I enjoyed it. I particularly enjoyed the end credits because a song came on which was like, "See you later, alligator," and it made me laugh. And I thought that was just quite an entertaining way to end an alligator movie. I feel like I've made myself look a bit silly there by singing, but hey, that's what the podcast is all about, keeping it real, people. I'm a silly kind of person. I'm not sure that I've portrayed that on this podcast, but the true me coming through. I feel like that's kind of it. Oh no, it's not. Zelda. So my recap on my game for the week. So yeah. Sorry, I was going to have a drink, that's why I'm sat here playing with the bottle. Okay. So yeah, Zelda, Breath of the Wild. I was quite into this for about like half of the week, and then I've not returned to it for the second half of the week. I need to, because I'm not stuck, but so I got into the last Divine Beast. I'm inside the mechanical camel thing. Took a bit of doing. I managed to go and retrieve the Helm of Thunder or something that had been stolen from this clan. The woman that I was really sort of returning that to, she has come with me to help attack the Divine Beast. She, using the Helm of Thunder, was able to protect us from like the lightning that this Divine Beast was firing out. So she has this cascade, a circle of protection. As long as I stay within this circle, it protects me from the lightning that was being fired down from the camel animal. Has a proper name, but let's just go with camel. I had to fire bomb arrows at this camel's feet to take out feet, stop it from moving, and then I was able to get inside. Whilst I was inside, there's as there always is with these Divine Beasts, there's I think 5, I don't know if that's in all of them, but there's so many of these I don't know what you call them, tablet points that you have to bring to life using your shake slate thing. So there was 5 of those to bring to life, and there's always a mechanical element to these animals, so you can move different parts of them at different points in time, and it jumbles everything up, and you have to get the sequencing right in order to access all the different slate points. I was getting stuck. This camel, there was 3 internal parts that rotated round in different segments, and you could move it so many pieces at a time. There was also some sort of tracking of live electrical connections. So if you had each of these 3 middle sections at a certain point, then there was electricity was connected from one end to the other, which then enabled different other things to come to life that you needed to be able to reach other slates, or these other tables. Anyway, it all got a little bit complicated. I had to look up what I was trying to achieve to get some walkthrough assistance, which I did, and then I got back on track and I was able to finish it. So I lit up all 5 of the table slate things, whatever they're called, they have proper names, and essentially that got me to the end point of having defeated the camel, but there was a end boss guy in there as well, who also fires lightning and basically wipes you out in one go if you get hit by his lightning attack. I had 2 attempts at this and thought, I'm not sure, I'm not ready to take this guy on. So I looked in the walkthrough, and it said that I should have it said to make sure you put on your rubber rubber leggings or something, which I don't have any rubber leggings. I assume that sort of helps earth you and negates his lightning attack. I don't have these, so I'm wondering at this point, so that's where I left it. I haven't returned to either try to fight this guy or decide to go back through the game and acquire these leggings that are required. Obviously now that I've been here, I have activated the shrine in the location, so if I leave this area to go and try and acquire this, I think there was reference to some other armour as well, which might aid the sort of beating of this guy. So even if I leave this area to go and find these items, which should hopefully help me defeat him, I'll be able to fast travel back to the nearest shrine to then go back into the mechanical camel. So I think that's my next step, is really I have to go and find these items in order to progress. I'm very close as well to, if I can find another 4 shrines while I'm out there, I'll be able to go get the hero's sword. I don't know if that will help me defeat him or not, but it will give me another heart container. So I might need to do I do need to do these things in order to progress with the game. I've not given up on it by any means, but I just hadn't returned to it at this point, although I have every intention of doing so. So I guess I will have progressed a little bit further by the time we speak next week, and let you know how I got on with getting this rubber leggings. Obviously linking some rubber leggings. Okay, so I do think that is the end of this week's podcast. As I said, short and sweet. I think I've checked in on everything that I was supposed to. Haven't had any calls from friends. Haven't played any games over calls. Not even sure that we've got anything scheduled. I think we've got a call tomorrow with my friends, Zoe, Sky, Claire and Harriet has. I think we've got a call tomorrow evening just to check in, but I don't think we've got any games nights scheduled. That would normally be Saturday evening, but I don't think anybody has confirmed that yet. So I should probably check in to do that. As I said, I will probably see my mum on Thursday, and then hopefully I'll see my dad on Saturday or Sunday. Haven't been for another walk with my baby friends since last Tuesday. With the weather looking a bit down this week, it's not ideal to be out there walking with babies. So yeah, I guess that's it for this week. I'll be back again next week, and hopefully we'll have some more progress on a number of areas. I will try to hold myself accountable and make sure I fit these things in. So until next time, don't forget to let us know if you would like Cookiecast t-shirts, and we'll speak soon. Okay guys, bye bye.
So there we go, what do you think of that? Another one done, another one gone. Cool. YouTube watchers, do subscribe. That's the kind thing to do. And you're a kind person. So I trust you. Everybody jump over to Cookiecast.com, check us out over there. Send us some love. There's social media links, email links. You can just kiss the screen if you like. Love, innit? So that's it for this one. Until next time, I'm going to say bye, and I'll see you then. Bye.